Hello, welcome to Yoga in Your Living Room. My name is Brenton, and we are joined today by Ollie.
Hello, everyone.
We will be guiding a practice today called How to Meditate. So let's begin by defining that term a little bit. So, contrary to what some of us might think, that I can't meditate because I can't quiet my mind. Meditation is not about quieting our mind. It is about observing our mind with a benevolent indifference. So there's a big difference there between trying to control what's in our mind versus trying to cleanly observe what's in our mind with a benevolent indifference. So you can actually meditate during any activity at all. Today we're going to meditate through a full body movement practice where we're going to get to see all of the things that come up for us, all of the thoughts, all of the bodily sensations, all of the sense perceptions, the things we see and hear and touch. And we're going to practice relating to all of that with a benevolent indifference. Ready to get started? Let's do it. So let's go ahead and come on down onto our back. Okay, and so first here, move around in any way that feels good to you. And recall what we practiced last week in our class, How to Pay Attention, where we were flushing our entire body with attention like light filling a room. Now see if you can tap into what you're experiencing here. Any thoughts that might be going through your head, any bodily sensations. And see if you can start relating to that with a more benevolent indifference, as if you were pulling yourself back from the actor and becoming the viewer. Now we're going to start to build up some sensation in the legs and in the butt. We're going to practice this benevolent indifference this whole time. So when you're ready, ground your arms, press down with your feet, and scoop your pelvis off the ground for a low bridge pose. And take a few moments here to physically set yourself well, maybe pulsing the pelvis up and down and trying to get the low back in a position where it feels good. So what we're going to see is that benevolent indifference is not the same thing as inaction. In other words, it doesn't mean that we need to ignore what our thoughts are or what our feelings are. So as you move here, try to move in a way where you feel more at peace and you feel more like it's easy to be benevolently indifferent because you're not experiencing any sharp pain, for example, or any weird tension in different places. And so you need to use your muscles in a way that makes your meditation easier, makes it easier for you to meditate. Okay, if you can hold your hips up, and you can let them down whenever you feel like that benevolent indifference is moving away and you're like, I have to come down, then come down. But we're going to hold it up here and breathe. And then we're going to raise the arms up to the sky and prepare the wrists for weight bearing. So when the arms reach up, the ribs soften down, squeeze in at the fists, and start flicking out over and over and over. Settle down into the shoulders. Keep the breathing going. And just feel all the different things that you're feeling. See how the benevolent, which benevolent means like there's the small quality of goodness or of happiness there. Indifference. Okay, let's go ahead and release that all the way down to the floor. From here, pressing the feet down and forward, let's interlock the hands behind the head with the elbows scooped in by the face. Press your feet down and forward, really ground your belly and lift up off the shoulder blades. So really release the head into the hands here. The neck is nice and soft. Move around at the chin a little bit. And still breathe into that lower abdomen. And be right here with each sensation and thought as they happen. When you're ready, come all the way down. And come up off the shoulder blades again. Press the feet down and forward. Really relax the head into the hands. As you feel ready, come all the way back down there. Press the feet down and forward. Pull the belly down. Lift up off the shoulder blades. And depending on how you feel here, start moving in your torso to the left, to the right. Just little teeny movements generated by your ribs, where your belly is still grounding down to the floor. As you feel ready, come all the way back down. Option to lift the knees up over the pelvis, trying to get the knees right up over it. Pull the belly down here. That's going to be harder to do. Lift up off the shoulder blades. Head soft into the hands. Imagine you're squeezing a brick between your legs. Turn your pelvis to the left and to the right. Just getting in to the lowest part of the belly. Okay, come back to center. Release and relax that all the way down. Pull the knees into the belly. Move them around a little bit. So as much as it is about having a benevolent indifference to all of the physical body sensations, it's also about having that with our thoughts. And so paying deeper attention to the thoughts that are coming through during this practice. Let's roll up to a seat. Let's stretch the legs out here and get ourselves settled in this new plane of movement. And so from here, hands in front or tented behind us, just moving around in the torso a little bit in any way that organically feels good to you. And if you're not quite sure what feels good to you, try leaning back here a little bit and connecting with some movements of your spine, maybe forward and backward. Trying to get your breath really low in the belly. And the next place we'll go from here will be flipping over onto hands and knees, tabletop position. And once we find tabletop, coming down to the elbows. Elbows narrow, hands wide or clasped. And as you feel ready, tip up off the knees, relax the head for dolphin. And do something with the legs that feels supportive here. Maybe widen the stance, maybe lift up onto the tippy toes. And feel everything here and learn to read everything. So with bodily sensations, it's about, am I okay? And if I'm okay, then I can stay. If I'm not okay, because I feel a pain or I've reached my limit, then come out. That'll help you maintain that benevolent indifference. As you feel ready, tap the knees down to the floor. Coming up onto the hands. Squeeze the floor with your fingers and hover the knees up off the mat for tabletop hover. As you feel ready, shift the pelvis up and back, your first downward facing dog. And here, again, feel free to move around. As you feel ready from here, let's push off the hands one at a time to walk back towards the feet, where we're hanging over the legs. And if the floor is super far away, back yourself up, perch yourself up on your legs, or reach forward onto a chair or ottoman. Make sure that you feel like nothing in the back is being overburdened here. You'll notice how your body and the sensations in your body create certain thoughts. And so watch all of that and become keenly aware of how those things are interlinked, because we can optimize that. We can adjust that over time simply by paying more attention. Bend into the knees, slowly roll all the way on up to stand there. When you get up to the top, finish the movement by reaching the arms. Slide the hands down. Try to find yourself as nice and lifted, as rooted into the floor as possible when you reach. And soften the hands, but keep yourself lifted and open. Just doing that a few times, feeling the entire train of motion. And if something is ever feeling off, maintain your benevolent indifference, but start troubleshooting. And in movement, troubleshooting is just trial and error. It's like, could I change a joint? Could I change which muscles are activating, which ones are relaxing? And then from here, as the hands travel down, we'll bend at the knees and the hips and the ankles for chair. We'll see if we can't get the legs to turn on for us. So really kind of send some good juju down into the feet and into the legs and feel them start working. They're like an engine. We've just turned them on. And the trick is, how can I be in meditation through this? And setting myself up here so I can really feel it's like each little moment is a micro moment of change where the butt is getting more on, the hamstrings, the calves, the feet. And solid as we curl in at the back, lifting up through the legs and folding forward. And then from here, bending the knees, sitting back into chair, lifting the hands back up in front of the heart, getting the pose back evenly in both legs, up the legs into the butt. As we feel ready, tipping forward, releasing at the upper back and the neck. Keep the breath soft, bend the knees, ripple up, hands at the chest, chair pose. That benevolent indifference with how we're experiencing all those sensations in the legs. Tipping forward. This time walking all the way out, downward facing dog. Gripping the floor with the hands, pulling that up into the armpits. As you feel ready, shifting forward, high plank, top of a push-up, getting lifted into the shoulder blades. Keep the breathing steady, tap the knees down. And feel yourself here. Don't skip forward with your attention. Be here exactly with the move as you bend the elbows. Keep the chest open. Come on down. Relaxing here. Let's even take the hands to stack. Relax the forehead. Use this as an opportunity to soften your jaw and your tongue and your facial muscles. And to really spread attention everywhere so that you can observe everything that's going on. And with everything that's going on that you can assess in your body, how can I have a benevolent indifference and also respond with intelligence? So from here, slide the hands back underneath the elbows, roll the shoulders away from the ground, but feel really contained on the front of the body. Let's hover the hands up off the ground, but at the same time lift the shoulders. So the shoulders are not dipping just to get the hands up. So if you can't even get the hands up, work the shoulder action first. The hands follow. As you feel ready from here, take the hands back down. Keep your chest like this as you push up to the knees. Tuck the toes. Shift the pelvis up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's push off the hands one at a time. Walk all the way back to the feet. Bend into the knees. Ripple up into chair pose. Hands together at the chest. As you feel ready, hinge forward, nice and easy. And as you feel ready, bend the knees. Sitting down, ripple up, chair pose. Find a lot of length in your torso, all sides. As you feel ready, Coming all the way down and forward. Bend the knees, ripple up, hands at the heart. As we feel ready, tipping forward. And this time, walking ourselves all the way forward to high plank, top of a push-up. Grip the floor, keep breathing here, my friends. Tap the knees down. Lift up into the shoulder blades as you bend the elbows and come all the way down. Relax the tops of the feet. Take a moment here. And when you feel ready, slide the hands back underneath the elbows. Roll the shoulders away from the floor. Keep that, but hover the hands if you can. And really contain the front of the body there. As you feel ready, hands down, pressing back up to the knees. Tuck the toes. Shift the pelvis up and back. Downward facing dog. One more time as we feel ready, pushing off the hands, walking all the way back to the feet, curling the front body into the back body so that the back body waterfalls. Bend the knees, float the hands up to the heart, chair. Find a lot of length in your torso here on all sides. And as you feel ready, scooper forward over the legs. Bend the knees, ripple the hands up in front of the chest. And really get the legs and the butt to do more work than the low back. So your low back feels like it's just going along for a nice sweet ride as you tip. And again, use those legs. Sit back into the buttocks as you ripple up, chair. And now this time press down, straighten the legs, stand all the way up. Let's take a few big arm circles up to the sky, down in front of the chest. Or we can just track our experience of the practice thus far. As we feel ready, let's tip forward over the legs. It's like you're going to chair, but then you go all the way down. And then walking ourselves all the way forward to high plank. Gripping the floor with the hands here. Tap the knees down, keep yourself lifted into your shoulder blades. And we know the drill here. Watch every moment with that benevolent indifference as you come down. Release through the tops of the feet here. This time, let's tent the fingers in under the armpits or a little bit wider. And you got to figure out how forward or backward it feels good to you. So play around as you lift the elbows, squeeze in at the fingers and ripple off the ground. And go on your own. You're just trying to get a range of motion that feels appropriate for your lower back, for all parts of your body. See, when we have a benevolent indifference, we're actually smarter because we see things without the bias of our emotions involved. Taking the hands underneath the elbows. Here we go. We're going to press up to the hands. Tuck the toes, shift the knees, send our hips up and back, downward dog. All right, time to walk forward to the front of the mat here. So take your time to do that and use your intelligence to find a way of doing it that works for you. Even if that means you stumble and you're grabbing for your furniture, that's all okay. Bend through the knees, come all the way up to stand, reach the arms all the way up. Take the hands down. Remember, meditation can be done in any activity, which is fabulous. So even if you're stumbling to find your furniture, you can still be meditating. So here we go. Let's come back into chair pose at the top of the mat. We're going to hold it here for just a couple of moments, getting nice and open through the chest, spine nice and long. And then we're going to see, do I have any more range in my ankles, knees, or hips right in here to come down any more without changing my neutral spine? And then I ask myself that question again. At the ankles, knees, and hips, do I have any more range of motion that I can muster? And then I ask myself that question one more time. Ankles, knees, and hips, all three. Without it being an emergency, release the legs and forward fold. From here, bend the knees, step the left foot back. We'll take the knee down to the floor, and then we can come upright over the back knee. If this doesn't work for you, just lift the back leg into a lunge. But try to get yourself kind of set up, feeling the pose here, spreading your attention into your whole body. We're going to take the right hand to the front of the left side of the pelvis and just remind it to come into the spine as we reach the left arm nice and long. Breathe way down into your belly, lift up through all sides of your torso, and then without changing your pelvis, lean over the right side of it. Pull everything into the spine so you're bending evenly on all sides. It's not a ton of movement, it's maybe an inch. Come all the way on up here, taking the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee. You can kind of bend and straighten it if it feels a little bit janky. Take the right foot back, high plank. See if you can find the position. It's your choice whether knees are up or down. And as you feel ready, come all the way down to the floor. Once you come down here, release the hands wherever they're comfortable. Lift the right foot and knee up off the ground just a little bit. Make sure that your low back feels good. You feel contained on the front of the body. Go ahead and lower that right leg, lift the left foot and knee, and trade back and forth. Keep the breathing easy and light into the lower belly while you really work to get the muscles on the backs of the legs turned on, activated. As we feel ready, hands underneath the armpits with the shoulders rolled open. And then pull your ribs up as you push up to the knees. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, send the pelvis up and back. Again, we'll take some time to walk the feet forward towards the top of the mat. Whatever style suits your body. As you feel ready, bend the knees slowly, come all the way up to stand. Finish it off at the top with a reach up to the sky. Soften the hands down in front of the body. We'll find a chair pose. We won't do too many more of these, but here we are. We see ankles, knees and hips. Ankles, knees, and hips. And not too much longer. We're going to tip right on over the legs there. And as you feel ready for it, take the right foot to the back, tap the knee down, roll on up to our low lunge. Take a few moments to feel settled and organized here. As you feel ready, left hand to the right frontal hip, reminded to go in. And then right arm reaches, both sides of the torso lift up. And without moving the pelvis, lift up and over the left side. And pull everything in all sides of the torso. As you feel ready, come on up out of that. Tap both hands down, lift the back knee, pull in your torso as you stretch the left leg back, high plank. Pick a way to come down to the floor that works for you. When you come down here, left foot and knee lifts a little bit, and it comes back down, and the right foot and knee lifts a little bit. And we just go back and forth like that a few times. As we feel ready from here, hands underneath the armpits, pull up at your ribs as you push up to the hands, tuck the toes, shift the pelvis up and back, downward facing dog. Now you can sense here what your body is ready for. So you can take some time to walk the feet forward, or you can shift the shoulders up and over the wrists, so you're lifting your pelvis up, and then pressing back and hopping. And then stepping, if you're hopping, then stepping the feet back, and doing that a couple of times. And you're trying to get a sense of arms lifting you up and catching you at the front, and torso moving vertically. And as we feel ready, we'll meet at the top of the mat. We'll go ahead and come all the way on up. We reach the arms, and we take the hands down. And so if we want to use our movement practice as a vehicle for meditation, it's a good idea to expose ourselves to lots of different movement scenarios so we can see how things are syncing up in each one of those scenarios. Let's step the left foot back so we're in a high lunge on the right. Pulling everything into the belly, lifting all the way up with the arms down at the side here. And then we want to really hold strong in the torso as we reach the arms out to the side and back down. Really use your legs to draw up into the pelvis so that it feels more strong than anything else. Now, if we wanted to add a little bit more leg movement here, we could add a split squat. So bending one or both knees as the arms go out, and then coming all the way back up and doing that a couple of times. Last one. And then this time, we're going to go ahead and turn open to the left and side lunge over into the left knee. Take the right hand to the floor or forward onto some furniture. So again, trying to get this into your hip, sitting back into your booty, and getting a sense that the torso is self-contained here. Now lengthen your heart forward, turn in at your belly and corkscrew around the spine to maybe lift the left arm. And only do that if it feels okay on that left shoulder. And if it doesn't, you can lift the elbow and kind of let the hand dangle. As we feel ready, bend over into the right knee, ground the left hand here. And again, same thing, turn open. And then push off the right foot, bend into the left knee, tense the fingers, and again, turn open. And one more time over to the right. Remember, you can have this floor hand lifted up on something. And then come back to center. Ground down through the feet. Slowly come all the way up. Let's turn in at the heels, out at the toes. Sit down into the pelvis there. That's nice. Really try to pull that rib cage up and back over the pelvis. And then the head up and back over the rib cage. So even tucking the chin a little bit. Yeah. Turning the left toes to the long edge of the mat, the right toes forward. Warrior two. Find a comfortable position for the feet and ankles. Yeah, take your time there to express those arms. And you can hold the pose or you can reach and lean back up over the left side of the pelvis. And then lift and reach up over the right side. Just take this opportunity to move around a little bit in that torso and trace each moment with your attention. Let's see if you can give more release through the neck. Okay, as we feel ready, we're going to turn to face the front here just for a moment, so that we feel ourselves, get the butt muscles on. And then we're going to hinge at the hips, take the hands down, and step the right knee back. So with both hands down on the floor here, step the right foot actually just back to with the toes tucked under. Use the legs to get the pelvis set evenly. Then use the right butt to lift the right toes up off the ground. We're going to bend the right knee, bring it in. And as we do that, open that hip up. But as you open the hip up, take the torso with it. So you're sort of twisted a little bit in the torso. From here, move at the right hip, squeeze the knee into the armpit, and then see if you can press it back. Bend into the right knee and press it back. See if you can get so light on the right hand that you could tent it and maybe even lift it. As we feel ready from here, hands down to the floor, step the foot back, coming all the way up and back, downward facing dog. And stretching that right leg up into the sky. So it doesn't go super high, keep the toes pointing down. Plug the pelvis in. And then we'll take the right foot down, and we'll lift the left leg up. And if this doesn't feel so advised to do with straight legs, then work with a bent knee and just do that instead. But really try to hold your torso in, use your shoulders. And as you feel ready, take both heels down, bend into the knees, and as you push off the hands, weight the feet more and walk all the way back. Keep the knees so bent that the belly's on it, that the hands reach forward, either to the floor or just out in front of you. The hands reach, but the shoulders plug in. And everything pulls into the belly. Bend the knees, slowly come all the way on up. Reach the arms up to the sky. Settle the hands down and let the breathing become very regular. So in this practice, we give ourselves frequent moments to take it down a notch. And resetting is very much a part of the meditation experience. If you've sat down to be quiet with yourself for a few moments, you know what it's like to catch yourself wandered off in some direction and then have to remind yourself, oh wait, hold on, come back, bring it back. All right, from here, let's reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And as we hinge forward, start at the knees, then the hips, then come all the way down over the legs. Make sure the hands resting on the floor or on the furniture is where you like to place them. We're still going to bend the legs here, but this time we're going to scoop the right leg up and back into a standing split. We're trying to keep the pelvis evenly set between the armpits, the neck feels good, the belly's pulled in. And then from here, we can take that right foot back down underneath us. And then again, press it up and back. And only go up as high as you feel good in your low back. So if your low back starts over-efforting, you need more in your standing leg, more in your glute. So from here, we're going to see if we can keep the leg lifted and turn open onto that left hip as if we're in half moon. And then, thanks Ollie, that's a good variation, doing it on the bottom knee, turning the pelvis back down to the floor. Opening and closing that hip and really letting the hip be an extension of the torso, so the whole torso goes with it. Now let's hold it open. Really use that left glute. If you feel secure here, try reaching the right fingers up to the sky. As we feel ready, take that right hand down, release the right foot in, and we'll walk it out into our downward facing dog. So if we do that well, we shouldn't feel the back really trigger at all. We should really feel that standing leg and the butt muscles really do a lot of the work to try to control the movement. As we feel ready from here, shift forward to high plank, top of a push-up, and then coming all the way down. Release through the tops of the feet here, stack the hands, release the forehead down, and really press the base of your pelvis into the floor. Breathe into the lower belly. As we feel ready, take the hands underneath the armpits, roll the shoulders up, and keep the front body super contained here as we press up to the knees. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, shift the pelvis up and back, downward facing dog. So here we have the opportunity to come to the top of the mat again. You can walk, you can do a few more hops, and try to feel your whole spine moving in one piece. Okay, and so when we come up to the top, bend into the knees, slowly roll all the way on up to stand, reaching the arms up and taking the hands down. One more time, reaching the arms all the way out and up. And then from here, as the hands travel down, we can step the right foot back to a high lunge. And it's nothing over the top. You get our right heel lifted, we get our legs plugged in, nice and strong. And then as the arms go down by the side, we start working with the shoulders. Taking the arms out and in, nice and slowly. And then if we wanted to add some leg movements, we can add them in the next time that the arms go out. So arms out, bending one or both knees, and then coming all the way back up. And it might change the pace of the movement. And try to really work both legs up into the pelvis, feel everything evenly. As we feel ready, here we go. We're going to turn open and bend the right knee. As the right knee bends here, lengthening out through the torso, you decide if the right fingers or elbow lifts to provide a little twist. Now, if you feel good here, you can go left to right as we did before. If you feel like you want a little bit more, what we're going to do is stand on this left hand. We're going to remove the left foot from behind and slide it through and underneath. So try it, give it a try if it seems like the thing for you. Otherwise, stick with your twists. Okay, so if you're bending your right knee, unweight the left foot, slide it through. Coming over, bending the left knee, stand on the right hand, unweight the right foot, slide it through. Okay, from here, finish up where you are, roll all the way on up. And that's also part of the meditation, is like figuring out what is the best choice for me right now. Taking the heels in, the toes out. And turning into warrior two to the left. So the right toes facing the front of the mat, the left toes facing the front of the mat, the right toes opening up. And just trying to find a comfortable position for the legs as you open into warrior two. Stay here, working with all of this, or reach up and go forward. And just take this opportunity to move on your own. When we're sufficiently meditating, when most of what we're experiencing, we have that benevolent indifference to, it has us plugged into a higher intelligence. And so sometimes you find yourself just doing things because you feel compelled to do them. And so I say, go do that. Go ahead and turn down to face the floor. Take the right knee down. Stretch the left foot back into one-legged tabletop with the toes on the floor. And use this time to use the legs to get the pelvis involved, pull in at the belly, lift the left knee or foot off the ground using the butt, and keep your belly contained as you bend at the knee and hip to bring the knee in towards the armpit, not your back. So now see here, if you could open that hip up like you're peeing on a hydrant, you're more on that right shoulder, less in the left hand, as you push back and draw in. Use both sides of your butt. They're doing different things here, but they're your biggest muscle and they're there to stabilize the pelvis. Okay, if you feel like you can manage a little left fingers lifting, try that. And then as you feel ready for it, come back, do something that feels restful. I'm going to get up off the knees and downward facing, but child's pose might also feel restful to you. And you might just know what to do next when you're plugged into that intelligence. As we feel ready for it, we'll meet in downward facing dog. This could also be done in tabletop as well. We'll lift the left foot off the ground for one-legged dog or one-legged table. And then we'll take the foot down and we'll lift the right side. We're trying to do this by moving at the hip and the butt and trying to get the shoulders and the torso to remain strong. Okay, when we feel ready from here, we can unweight the hands and push back off onto the feet. If you're on tabletop, lift your knees. And then bend into the knees and slowly come all the way on up. Reaching the arms all the way out and up to the sky. Settling the hands down. Taking this moment up here again to reset a little bit. As you feel ready, reach the arms all the way up to the sky, coming all the way down over the legs. We're going to find standing splits here. So if you want to be reaching out in front of you, you want the back to feel really long here. So if you feel like you're all cooped up in the back, you got to get deeper into the knees and hips. That's going to make you work harder, but that's where we got to be. And long in the spine. And then from there, lift the left leg up off the ground, reach it back. So again, you can be on that right knee in a tabletop position. From here, we're going to see if you can open the hip like we were just doing on the floor, and then close it. But not from the low back working, from the leg and the butt working to open and close. Your legs can be any amount bent. You see if you could hold it open into a side or like a half moon and unweight the left fingers. As we feel ready, left hand down, left foot down, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, shift the shoulders forward, tap the knees down to the floor, and then we're gonna see if we can peel the right hand up off the ground, pull the chin up into the throat, and turn open onto that left shoulder blade, really turning in at the spine like it's a corkscrew. Take the heart down and twist up. As we feel ready, right hand down, you can replace it, left hand, pull the head up into the hand, and then turning around a corkscrew. Really pulling everything into the spine. And keeping both sides of the torso really long. Taking that left hand down, let's come around to a seated position here and roll all the way down onto our back. Drawing the knees in here. Hopefully the back is feeling okay throughout all of this. Some of these are complex movements. So we can start rolling around on the sacrum. Your sacrum is a little fusion of low back bones right at the back of the pelvis. Imagine you could trace it and leave an imprint of it on the floor as you circle around in both directions. See if you could settle your eyes here a little bit and then balance the weight on your sacrum. Keep the weight on your sacrum as you pull the knees away from each other a little bit. And the weight's on your sacrum. Notice if your rib cage feels like it's poofing up to the sky. Could you do something to tack the ribs down? You could even get your head up onto a pillow to get the ribs down. And then see if you can get the back of your neck really long. Now slide the hands on the backs of the thighs, and without disturbing anything in the torso, move just from the hips as you squeeze the knees closer in towards the armpits. And just see if that wakes up a little bit of a stretch in your groin. If you want, flex through your feet, and now press your feet skyward as your knees still pull down. And do that. Did any of the front of your body poof up? Mine did a little bit. Did your front body poof up? Yeah. So pull the front body back. But still keep the sacrum on the floor. And definitely feel free to move. Definitely feel free to move. And just feeling all of that. Let's go ahead, tuck the knees in towards the belly. Let's roll over onto a side and support ourselves with that arm. With the lifted arm, we can take it behind the neck here and just give ourselves a little bit of a squeeze. Keep the chin tucked in. Pull your ribs in, your belly button in. You can even give a little bit of that shoulder a squeeze, whatever shoulder you can reach back there. Be aware of all these different sense perceptions here, everything you're touching. Be aware of your skin, how it feels under your fingers, but then also how it feels from within you, the tissue underneath the skin. And then from here, let's go ahead and reach that left arm really long and tent the fingers long over the ear. Keep the chin tucked, and that'll just open up that armpit, that side waist a little bit. As you feel ready to come to the other side, let's go ahead and lift her back up through center. And we can roll onto the left side. Use the left arm as like a little pillow. Take the right hand behind the neck, a little squeeze. Really feel free to walk that hand wherever the squeeze takes you. If you liked that little side stretch, reach the right arm really long by the ear overhead. Maybe sprinkle the fingertips down to the floor and then use that to push the floor away, but still pull everything into your belly. As you feel ready, coming all the way onto the back here. And let's find a place to release and relax into Shavasana. So find yourself wherever you'd like to lie down on the floor with your legs propped up onto a sofa, or just get up and lay on the sofa. But take a few moments here to set up your body in a way where nothing's trying to steal all of your attention because it feels too tense. And so if something is doing that, what could you do? What could you change? And what data could you collect from that experiment? And when you get comfortable, see if you can release your breathing so you're not controlling it anymore, but still allow it to go in and out through your nose. And now just watch your experience, everything that you're experiencing, the sounds, the feeling of your skin, the side of the back of your eyes, all of your bodily sensations, and any thought that comes through your mind, whether that thought is an image, like you're seeing something, or it's written out like a sentence, or you hear it like a voice. And no matter what comes up, practice responding to it with a benevolent indifference. Let's begin to move our bodies just a little bit. Fingers, toes, maybe the back of the head. And then let's meditate in a silent sitting position. So let's go ahead and take our time to transition up to a seat. And it's okay if you opened your eyes. Again, it's not about controlling any aspect of our experience. It's about noticing what's there and being okay with it. And being okay with it and accepting it does not mean that we need to agree with it necessarily. When you can be benevolently indifferent to all of the different aspects of your experience, you are plugged in to a much higher intelligence, an intelligence that sees things clearly and that knows what to do next. So anytime you get stuck in your little thought loops of, I need to figure it out, and how is it going to get figured out? You know, all those questions that we ask ourselves on a daily basis. See if you can recall a little bit of this and put this into your life in as many activities as you can. When you're on a work call, when you're cooking dinner, when you're trying to get your kids to go to sleep. All of it. When you're filling out job applications. When you learn that a family member is sick. Practice this. So I thank you so much for joining today. And before we wrap up shop here, I'll do my quick little announcements about where you can find us online. So if you are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure that you do that so you can get notified when we have new videos out. They come out every Sunday. And then also make sure that you head over to our website, yogainyourlivingroom.com, where all of our videos are displayed in a donation-based yoga library. And that library is set up to help you with different things. The playlists are curated in a way where you can get a posture reset, you can work on back issues, hip issues, all of that kind of stuff. And then the best way to really stay in touch with everything new that we're doing, because we're doing new things all the time, is to sign up for our weekly letter, which is totally free. You can do that on our website as well. And that's where we curate the links for you to all of our new classes, blog posts. We share a lot of stories about movement and about life to help you feel better in your body and mind every day. And we are donation-based here at Yoga in Your Living Room, so if you feel inclined to donate, we greatly appreciate it. You can donate anywhere from $1 a month, so think about that, $1 a month, anywhere up to whatever you can afford. So I strongly recommend that. We're on Patreon, so there's a community forming there, and that community gets access to exclusive content, which I don't really want to say right now because I don't want to date myself with this video where someone's like, where's my blah, blah, blah. But there's lots of cool new changing exclusive content there. And then, yeah, that's it. You got anything, Ollie? All right, we're just gonna chill out here for a little bit. So, thank you. Have a good day.